Hi Derek, this is Alan Cockrell with ABC Hitting Camps. I just received your video. We're going to do some analysis. Just looking at the setup position right here. I think the first thing that we always look at in setup is just being under balance. And we want to try to maintain that balance throughout the entire hitting process, from the setup position to the load to the swing and then into the finish. Setup is probably the most individualized part of hitting. There's going to be many aspects that are alike once we get to the load and we get to the toe touch, foot down part of the load. But in setup, you're going to see many different types, but we always do look for balance. And what I see with you is I see good balance. I see knees inside feet right here, and then I see your head inside your knees, okay? And that is a good athletic balanced setup position. So you're in a real good position right there. The one thing that I do see in your setup, and you kind of change this a little bit, but you have an extremely flat bat. I'd like to see a little bit more perpendicular angle with the bat, but I think you might get there once we get to the load. Okay, Derek, we're going to take this to the next phase, which is the load section of the swing. As we load, we are looking to get into a good solid position to recognize pitch and then put a good swing on that pitch. As you can see here, I said that you had the flat bat. You do get to the position where your bat is more perpendicular at a 45 degree, and I think that's a much better position to go from than having the flat bat. The flat bat a lot of times will drag and cast out and around the baseball. As you start to bring your hands forward, the handle of the bat is exposed in the hitting zone much more quickly. But as you can see here, you've gotten that to a 45 degree angle, which is a good position. Again, your knees are inside your feet, and at this particular time you do have a nice bend in this front knee. We're looking to make sure that the hips are squared. We're looking to make sure that when this foot lands, we are no more open than a 45 degree. If we're in this position, open, then that's going to cause the front side to want to leak out of there pretty quickly. So we're going to take it forward, and we're just going to see where you end up. We get to the heel position where the heel plant has landed, and you're in a good position. You haven't opened it up more than 45, so you're in a very solid position. I think the one thing that I would caution you on at this point is to just make sure that this knee does not stiffen up too quickly. The front knee will stiffen, but it doesn't stiffen until actual contact. If this front knee stiffens too quickly, we have a tendency to want to open up the hip prematurely. And when the hip opens prematurely, then our swing plane is always going to the third base side or to the pull side of the field. So I just caution you to maintain that good athletic position with a good athletic equal bend in both knees when we get to the loaded position right before we start our swing. Okay, Derek, now we're going to move into the swing phase. And again, the things that I look for are, number one, balance. We talked about this front knee being a little bit stiff, a little bit prematurely. But as we start to move forward, you do a lot of good things. Your back knee is working in the direction of your front thigh. That's a transfer of energy from the back side into the front side. The next thing that I look for is that the hands are starting to add up with what the lower half is doing. So shoulder, this back elbow, and this back hip should be pretty much in alignment. And as you can see, you're in an absolutely phenomenal position. You have a tremendous angle with the barrel of your bat. You're starting to work your hands forward to the baseball, but this adding up of your back shoulder, back elbow, and back hip are what's going to allow you to deliver a powerful blow at impact with the baseball. We're going to take this a little bit forward, and we're going to take a look to see where you get to. Again, I talked about the flat back casting the knob of or the handle of the bat into the hitting zone too early. You corrected that when you got into the load phase, so the handle of the bat is not going to be a factor. Your hands start to go forward, and as they do, they'll get just past your center of gravity, which is your belly button, and now we start to deliver the barrel of the bat with this top hand. So we're going to take it forward a little bit more. We get to contact. I see a really, really good palm up, palm down position with your hands. I see head and eyes looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. You are in a very, very strong position. We take this a little bit further into the follow through, and as we get through contact and we get into extension, you can see that the end of your bat is now facing toward the pitcher, so you've gotten through the ball extremely well. That is very, very good. And then we finish, and you finish under balance tremendously well. You've kept the weight more centered on the ball of your feet down here, and you get a good full backside turn. So I think your swing is very, very solid. The only thing that I might suggest in going forward is to get on a tee and just work the middle part of the plate, the outside third of the plate, and just make sure that when you get to your loaded position, both feet are down, that you've got good equal bend in both knees, and your hips are staying square to home plate. That's going to allow you to take a good directional path to that ball middle away and drive it into right center. But you do a lot of things extremely well, and I just encourage you to keep up the good work and continue playing and just work on that ball away, keeping good athletic bend in both knees. Thanks, Derek.